Let's move on, though, into Spider-Man news. And this is one, Johnny, that, I'll be honest, happened last week. Should have talked about it last week, but we didn't do the Rick and Johnny podcast last week. And I feel like I'm saying last week a lot. However,
just a little bit.
Spider-Man Homecoming 2 news, it's changed a little bit. Back then, a week ago, they said, oh, Jake Gyllenhaal will be Mysterio. Now all the articles I pull up say in talks to be Mysterio. So basically, what we are going to look at, for the sake of argument, Jake Gyllenhaal is Mysterio. What will his role as Mysterio, like his Mysterio character, what will that character's role be in Spider-Man Homecoming 2? Because it looks like if Gyllenhaal becomes Mysterio in Homecoming 2, that he's going to be Quentin Beck, a special effects stuntman type of character, takes on the Mysterio role to kind of go against Spider-Man. I will ask you, or a special effects wizard, as people are saying. I will ask you, what do you think Mysterio's role with Jake Gyllenhaal will be in Spider-Man 2, and what do you think of Jake Gyllenhaal being Mysterio?
I'm not opposed to Jake Gyllenhaal being it. What was the last thing he was in? Hold on, looking
at his IMDb.
Yeah,
because I know the last time we talked about him, he was in talks to be Batman.
Yes, he was.
Where basically Matt Reeves said, "Hey, he's confirmed. Like he's ready to go. Ben's just gotta say he's done." And Jake Gyllenhaal is going to be Batman. The last big thing I remember him in is that Nightcrawler
movie
in 2014.
I mean, I don't see a lot of it being terribly hard to be Mysterio. Honestly, we have no movie references for it.
No.
So we don't have like a set personality necessarily, and you never really get to see facial anything really with Mysterio. He's a orb with smoke inside of it on a human body. So I mean, I don't see why he can't do it. He's a decent actor. Like we said, hasn't been in anything since 2014 really. Let's see. Sorry, he has been in stuff, but nothing hyped as much as that Nightcrawler thing that I know of, at least.
The thing that I'm thinking about is how are they going to fit Mysterio into the MCU and what they're building with Spider-Man? Because just a little bit right here. This is from the Polygon article about it. They say, frustrated with lack of recognition for his talents in the film industry, and after failing to transition his career to acting or directing, Beck decided that the best way to get famous would be to kill a superhero and set his sights on Spider-Man because he thought he would be the easiest. As Mysterio, he used his expensive knowledge of practical effects and live theater staging to mesmerize and confuse Spider-Man's spider sense, and his knowledge of fighting styles from his stunt work to go toe-to-toe with Spider-Man in combat. So is this going to be something where we kind of have a hint that Spider-Man's coming back from the snappy poo that Thanos put us through? Is basically Avengers 4 going to leave us? Because this is supposed to... the next Spider-Man is supposed to pick up moments after Avengers 4. Is now leaning more towards, here's what I'm going to go with, kind of a working script. The end of Spider-Man 4, Spider-Man officially becomes an Avenger. Tony Stark makes a big deal, if he's still alive. Makes a big deal. You're an Avenger. If it's picking up moments after that, Avengers 4 ends with him, the announcement, we pick up Spider-Man 4 right at that announcement, that you're an Avenger, that Spider-Man's an Avenger. That then puts him on a pedestal that then a Quentin Beck can go, I need to kill him. I need to kill him. That's how I become famous. As the one to kill Spider-Man. And Thanos is go, dude, I did it first. Thanos is like, dude, I did it first. Like, I killed him first. Like, you're second fiddle to me. But
to paraphrase South Park, Thanos already did it.
Thanos did it. Thanos did it. But basically, is that then what we're going to be at? Is Spider-Man becomes an Avenger. Mysterio, in order to become famous, I have to kill Spider-Man, who's now an Avenger.
Since it's taking place right after the Thanos thing, what if instead of just the blatant feeling,
because they don't even have to go with that same story.
Instead of just feeling unappreciated and saying, I need to kill a superhero, what if it's something to do with the Thanos snap? He sees it as, it's these superheroes' faults. And then he sees, Spider-Man's the newest Avenger. He'll probably be an easy target because he's still young. He's still fresh.
So very much like the Vulture.
Yeah. And actually like give him a backstory that you can kind of feel for him.
Which I actually like that. Like that kind of a similarity to the Vulture. Because think about it. What's the main reason why they picked Mysterio? What's Sony trying to set up? The Sinister Six.
I was about to say
we've already got Vulture, we've got Scorpion. Green Goblin will be eventually back. Like we're gonna have a Green Goblin in this universe, I hope.
Or a Hobgoblin.
We've set up the Sinister Six lineup already. So it's like, what are we gonna do to continue that? Mysterio's the next one. And then at the end, after Spider-Man beats him, that gives him a connection with Vulture because, you feel the same about Spider-Man as I feel about not just Spider-Man, but Tony Stark.
Yeah.
About supers.
But now he's going to feel the same. He feels that about Spider-Man now, too. So they're going to have a common enemy.
Yeah. And then Scorpion.
How'd you get in here? Oh, Spider-Man got me.
And then
you too,
Scorpion just wants to kill him.
Yeah.
Basically.
Scorpion's just done. He wants him dead.
And one of the things that I want to pull up really quick, I should have had this pulled up beforehand, is I was looking and Screen Rant had an article where they casting the Sinister Six in the MCU, and there was one of these that I really liked. So Vulture, Michael Keaton, boom, we already know that. Shocker, Brokeem Woodbine, we've already seen him. He's the guy that when Peter comes out of the prom, he punches him into the bus.
Yeah.
We've already seen that. We've already seen Michael Mando as Scorpion. So those are kind of the big three that we've seen. They've got the Prowler. We've seen Donald Glover as well. Jake Gyllenhaal as Mysterio. Then they go into the ones that we could see and who they could be. Doc Ock, they go with a Jeffrey Wright. So he's from Westworld right now.
Okay.
He's one of the big guys in Westworld, I believe. Here's the one that I really like. Kraven the Hunter, Pedro Pascal. Pedro Pascal, I can't remember his name, the Viper from Dawn.
Okay.
I saw that and I was like, yes, make that happen now. I would love to see the Viper from Game of Thrones as my Kraven. Like,
I'd take that.
He might not be the buff, like he might have to Zachary Levi it.
Yeah.
Where I'm going to work out a ton. He seemed a little bit more like shorter and thinner than Kraven, as like I'm referring him to the Viper when I watched him in Game of Thrones. But his look, hair, facial hair, could look exactly like Kraven the Hunter. And then they also had Tobey Maguire as Green Goblin. Don't know how I feel about that.
Wow.
That would be interesting to bring him back as the villain.
You either die a hero or you live long enough to be the villain.
Exactly, Batman. And they even say is who could play Norman Osborn's Green Goblin after William Dafoe. Technically Chris Cooper, The Amazing Spider-Man 2, but the amazing reboot of the Osborns was merely a cameo. The Green Goblin is one possible solution. I'm skipping ahead here. Would be to reboot the Green Goblin with a nod to the original Spider-Man film by casting Tobey Maguire, the first Spider-Man. Maguire has focused more on producing than acting in recent years, but the role of the Green Goblin could help revitalize his acting career. Then you got Venom. We're already getting that with Tom Hardy. Chameleon. They've got Zahn McClarion. That's one that I didn't really know of. Here's an interesting one that I kind of looked at is, so they've got Electro, Constant Wu. What would you feel is if, let's say, Electro, who in the comics male character, when we saw him as Jamie Foxx male character, what would your thought be? We're also kind of getting that bend already because like Doc Ock, Jeffrey Wright, who I mentioned, is an African-American actor. so we would get that bend of like white in the comics, African American in the movies, which I wouldn't give a shit either way, whatever it is, as long as the part is well written.
Yeah, exactly.
But
and well acted.
But what would your feelings be, and would they be any like? Would you care if they took a character like the Shocker and Constant Wu, who's a female character, and they took a male character from the comics and made it a female character? Would that be the same thing as like the Jeffrey Wright, where it's like, whatever, I don't give a crap if it's a black actor as long as the actor's good and the part's written? Or would it be like, I don't know, like I don't know if I could see the Shocker as a female character?
Oh, I'd have to see her. I'm trying to find her. I don't know. How do you spell her name?
It is C-O-N, Stance, and then her last name is Wu, W.
Oh, there it is. Okay.
Yeah.
Part of it's like I always go by like, can they pull off the look? And I mean,
she is set to star in the highly anticipated film Rich Crazy Asians, which would be, and it says here, which would be a surprising choice as a villain. Her nuanced and emotive performance in Fresh Off the Boat makes it clear that she should give.
That's what I know her from.
An emotive and raw performance as Electro.
You know what? I wouldn't say no, because I mean, I've seen her in Fresh Off the Boat, and it's more of a comedy. But I mean, if you're gonna gender bend it, I really have no reference off of that. Yeah, and I've got no opposition to it. And you're gonna gender bend it, you're going to change the race. I'm not opposed to any of that as long as it's written well and you have an actor that can pull it off.
My only take is the only way I would hate that is if it's like, oh, we're doing this just to do that. Like, we're doing this just to gender bend. No, if you do it, like, if that's your goal, okay. But make it well written, make it seem like it fits, and make me feel...
Exactly.
I don't want to say make me feel comfortable with it. That's probably a shitty way to say it. But, like, make it seem to where it's not just like, oh, well, you just did this just to do it.
Don't make it so it's like, well, we did it because we had to cast a woman in a spot. It's like, no.
Exactly.
If she's a good actress for the role, great. Put her in that role then.
And I got two last ones. Okay. I'm going to go one by one. I want to get your reaction. You're going to look me right in the eye for this. Lizard, David Harbour. Stranger Things, Hellboy.
I know who it is.
I know. I'm just saying, like...
I'm just thinking about how
could he be the Lizard? Could he be Lizard?
He could. I mean, it'd be different. I mean, hopefully, if they do a Lizard again, they don't do what they did and give him human face. As much, I like the extended... Sorry, I'll go in the mic. I like the extended snout.
I wasn't telling you. I was just moving.
No, I was noticing on my own.
I just noticed, like, I was moving mine as you did that, and I was like, oh, no, I was trying to tell you.
No, I was noticing on my own.
Okay.
I would prefer the...
Becoming more aware there, Johnny. Awareness. I like it.
Yeah. Don't get used to it. I like the extended snout because it makes him more lizard-like. But have him Doc Connors. I'm fine with that.
And the last one, Rhino. And for my audio listeners...
Paul Giamatti.
No. For my audio listeners...
I believe that's who the Rhino was in the Amazing Spider-Man.
I'll let Johnny say the name, but for my YouTube listeners, I'm going to just do a basically sign language, a pantomime thing, so it's going to be silent.
The Rock?
Not The Rock. John Cena.
Interesting.
That's who they say should be the Rhino.
Sorry, for some reason I was thinking from the sign language thing.
Yeah, no, but like John Cena. Yeah. John Cena is, not Rampage, not you. What was it? You
look like
you look like big shit. That was it. But no, John Cena. I don't know how I would feel about that.
I don't either. He's a little
He's a good actor, and he's transitioning now, doing the Rock thing, where he's transitioning into acting away from wrestling. I don't know how I'd feel with him as the Rhino.
Because the Rhino's always angry. He's always pissy, and I've never seen John Cena like that.
John Cena's been pissy, angry in wrestling. Like
See, I've never seen it, so I don't know.
I could see that part, but just like the overall look. What kind of Rhino are we going with? Are we going with? And here's the big thing.
Oh, God.
Would we go with a Paul Giamatti Rhino where it's him in a mech suit, basically?
Please, no, don't do that
Or
again.
are we going closer to like an animated series Rhino of like, I am just a big, strong, like, I don't even know with Rhino if it was just him in a freaking gray spandex suit with a horn on his head.
Yeah, basically.
That's all he was. And it's basically like I always thought of him as like a Juggernaut type character of like, oh, he's just got really super strength where he can barrel through a wall.
I mean, you could do it
not
like
hurt him.
You can do it like the newer Spider-Man series that you and I have watched, at least parts of, where he's mutated into this partial rhino, partial human
Then
thing.
I could see it because John Cena has the body of
Exactly.
a freaking like bodybuilder. He's been working on his body for years.
That's what you want then, though, is you want someone his size as the Rhino. Acting chop wise, you may know better than I do if he can pull that off.
We will see for sure. I think he was in Trainwreck. I think he was in Trainwreck for a little bit with Amy Schumer. But we're going to see a lot of John Cena's acting chops later this year with the Bumblebee movie.
Oh, that's right.
Because he's in that Bumblebee spin-off.
Forgot about that.
But yeah, and I wonder if, going back to Mysterio, because I know we took a little bit of a tangent into Sinister Six territory, how do you think this sets up then for a Sinister Six? Because obviously that's what Sony wants. I mean, the MCU is kind of just doing this so that they can get Spider-Man maybe, and just kind of trying to fit Mysterio in. I think the Mysterio decision is more of a Sony decision than a MCU Marvel
I'm
decision.
thinking about how to go about that, because, I mean, do you have basically 3 people set up, maybe 4 if they decide you go with Shocker, and I'm doing a weird spinning thing on my pinky?
So we've got Shocker, Vulture, Scorpion, Venom.
Is Venom going to be part of it?
Maybe. He could.
I'm not going to... I'm not including him right now.
We have him, though. If they do include him, we have him. And then we've got the Prowler, if the Prowler is going to be in there.
As of now, I'm not going to count those 2,
Okay.
Venom or the Prowler.
Because they're not original Sinister Six?
Well,
is that what you're going for?
No, because Venom is a strictly Sony thing right now, whereas this is MCU Sony territory. So there's a difference. Prowler, remember you and I did a little talk about him on one of the other shows, and yeah, he's not really like Spider-Man Sinister Six villain. He's more of a petty theft guy, then eventually kind of starts trying to do the right thing.
The original Sinister Six, this is the first ever lineup, was Doc Ock, who we don't have, Vulture, who we do, Electro, which we don't have in the MCU, Kraven the Hunter, which we don't have in the MCU, Mysterio, who we would get in this movie, and Sandman.
Yeah, you know, I'm not even going off.
And I don't think anyone wants to bring back Sandman after what we saw with Spider-Man 3?
Yeah.
But Spider-Man 3, I don't think anyone wants to see that.
Infinity War spoiler, Sandman did it first.
Sandman did it first. Yeah, he made everyone phase away. But I mean...
Just himself.
I don't really know what lineup of the Sinister Six they would go with. I'm assuming they would just go with the most popular one that people...
and that's fine with me. I'm just saying, like, so what we have now is potentially the Shocker. With this, we'll get Mysterio.
Yeah.
Vulture and Scorpion. We have 2 more. If we use all 4 of those, we have 2 more to set up.
I'm assuming it'd be what? Like, it would be Doc... I would say Doc Ock and maybe, like, Rhino or Kraven the Hunter. Because those are 2...
One of those 3.
We've seen Rhino, not a real serious villain. And we've never seen Kraven the Hunter.
Well, I mean, the muscle would be there then if you get the Rhino. Kraven the Hunter would be good to have, or Doc Ock for the intelligence if you want him to be that route.
Ideally, what I would like them to do is kill off Scorpion or get rid of Scorpion.
Or just don't put him in.
Or just don't include him.
That's what I just said.
I would like their lineup basically to be... or...
Leave out Shocker and
leave
keep
out
Scorpion.
Shocker. That's what I'm thinking. So Vulture, Scorpion, Doc Ock, Kraven, Rhino, and Mysterio. That would be my 6.
That'd be nice.
I
like that.
Like,
because, like I said, we don't really have Shocker at the end.
We only saw him for a little bit.
Yeah.
Like, we don't even know what happened to him. But it's going to be interesting to see how Mysterio fits in. Because the motive is there. Just how do they link him then into this universe? And really, will the end of Spider-Man 2 basically be what we saw at the end of Spider-Man 1? Where we saw, all right, the Sinister Six is starting to form with Vulture and Scorpion. Quentin Beck then goes to prison. He then meets them who are already there.
Yeah.
And then basically it's so they're all just going to meet in prison, which makes sense. It's kind of a spin-off off of the original Sinister Six, because how that all formed was Spider-Man beats Doc Ock, sends him to prison. Doc Ock gets broken out by or with the help of the people who I named who are the original Sinister Six. So it kind of plays an homage to that of like, we're forming this group in prison.
It'd be cool, like, during Mysterio's, like, not animatronics necessarily, but like all of his special effects, like hinting at the other ones that are going to be included. Like if you're going to do Rhino, literally have like a Rhino charge at Spider-Man, make him freak out about that.
He could do that.
Exactly.
He can make like things appear with his visual effects,
or like have him like stuck in a room and all of a sudden over a PA system. At this point, you're going to be hunted now, and just like hints at like, I think we're gonna include this villain and this one and this one in the Sinister Six. That'd be cool. I think
it's gonna be interesting because Mysterio's been one for Spider-Man that I've really wanted to see. Like him and Kraven are the two I've really wanted to see in a live action movie.
Yeah.
Because, we've seen the Doc Ock. I like Doc Ock, though, as a Spider-Man villain. But, like, we've seen Doc Ock. Vulture was new. Vulture we've never seen. And that's what I like with, like, the MCU right now is they're kind of giving us a special with Spider-Man. Okay, what haven't we seen?
Yeah.
With
we didn't redo Green Goblin at all.
Which I'm kind of excited about. Like, I know it's a different kind of a Spider-Man that we were used to. Like, yeah, Andrew Garfield had the whole high school thing going on, but like, here's an off-the-cuff question. When do you think they introduce Norman and Harry to this Spider-Man Homecoming, if they do?
I'd say either do it in this next film, or honestly...
transfer student Harry Osborn?
Yeah.
And he becomes friends with Harry?
Or, yeah, either that or eventually, like... Do the old storyline if you really want to, and say Terry's been off at like boarding school for forever, finally got transferred back, and so he can start learning from his father.
Also, recently I just watched Spider-Man Homecoming again. You know what scene I can totally forgot about that's very underrated?
What?
Man in the chair. I love that scene. I watched it, like I said, I watched it again, and I'm like, man, I forgot this scene existed, where he's in the car and he's like, tell me how to turn on the headlights. And he wheels the chair over to the other computer. Hey, how's the other thing going? He wheels over to the other computer. And then he's like, man in the chair. And he just spins around.
What are you doing in the computer lab? I'm looking at porn.
Because it's a reasonable answer for a high schooler
to
answer, right? Any final thoughts on this before we move on?
No, I would be excited to see Mysterio. I'm just saying, I'm excited to get Mysterio. I hope this goes through.
Do you think Jake Gyllenhaal becomes Mysterio? Because
I think it'd be good.
Because here's also the thing.
Yeah.
Because of this, it says Jake Gyllenhaal in talks, but we know for sure it's going to be Mysterio.
Yeah.
They wouldn't be looking for someone to play Mysterio if they weren't going to do Mysterio. So we know
I think it's going to be cool.
We're going to do Mysterio for sure. Do you think Jake Gyllenhaal in the end is the guy that gets the deal done and he's the guy who's Mysterio, or do you think these fall out in any way?
I hope so, and I can see him being Mysterio overall. Also interesting thing, kind of how it plays into the Vixen that we're supposed to have.
What do you mean?
The female character that's supposed to be in Spider-Man 2.
Oh, you're right. The femme fatale.
Femme fatale. That's what I'm thinking.
I was like, the Vixen. Like,
sorry,
what kind of villain is
femme
that?
Fatale.
The femme fatale. I'm still thinking that's Gwen Stacy.
Possibly.
I'm still thinking it's a Gwen Stacy.
Also, one more thing, and then this will be my final one. It would be hilarious to bring Harry in as the Spider-Man. No.
Oh, okay.
As Spider.
I was like, are we gender bending
as Peter's old
Harrietta Osborn?
Anyways, no. As Peter's old friend, and then have him and what was his new friend's name?
You're talking about
Spider-Man Homecoming.
Oh crap!
Guy in the chair.
Yeah, I'm gonna look it up. Well, go ahead with your thought.
Have the two of them like the jealousy thing between old best friend, new best friend.
Who's the real best friend?
Yeah, well, you haven't been around all these years.
Oh, I should know this. I'm
Ned.
I'm scrolling. Ned.
Yeah.
See, you got it. You got it before I did.
Yeah, exactly. I don't need your
I wanted to
interwebs.
say it started with a P, but that was entirely wrong.
Yeah, it was.
I just couldn't remember his
No,
name.
yeah, so have
That would
Harry
be a
and
funny
Ned kind of
dynamic where
like
it's
and
no,
it's not
I'm
even
his friend.
It's
No,
like
I'm his
a
friend.
one-sided thing too,
Yeah,
where Harry's just back. It's like,
Peter Parker is oblivious to it. Doesn't even know what's going on.
well, I'm saying it's one-sided. Ned's the one getting jealous because Peter's old best friend is back.
He feels insecure about
Exactly.
it. Yeah.
I think it'd be
I think
hilarious.
that'd be fun. But this is where I want you guys to tell us what you guys think down below in the comment section. What will Mysterio's role be in Spider-Man Homecoming 2? What do you want to see from the Mysterio character? And also, what do you want to see from the Sinister Six? What members do you want to see in it? What actors or actresses do you want to see in it? Let me know. Let Johnny know. Let us know what you think down below in that comment section.